Wake One is fighting so hard for girls they don't even want to promote. Okay, you're just fighting to have them. You're just fighting to have the name, but you're not gonna do anything with them. So it's like, what's the point? Okay, so let's get over the real voice, real quick, because I'm doing this video on a whim, this is unscripted. It's just to get my ideas out, to get my opinions out, to share. This is a conversation. As always, before we start, this is no hate to any of the girls, especially not to Mashiro or Yeso or any of the other members. This is a very complex issue, and as we'll get into later, Mashiro and Yeso probably did not have a lot of authority when signing or choosing to not resign with Wake One. Anyways, you've probably seen anywhere if you've been on K-pop social media that Kepler has renewed. I'm not sure if they've extended or if they are doing another 2.5 year contract, but 7 out of the 9 members have chosen to continue Kepler activity. While on paper we cheered, we huzzawed because this is the first time in history where a Produce or Planet or mnet show group has resigned ever. It's also not technically because only 7 out of the 9 members resigned. The 2 members that chose to not resign were Mashiro and Yeso, so they will be departing from the group. Now I do want to include that all articles and pretty much all the statements coming from these girls original companies are stating that they themselves the girls chose to resign with Wake One by their own will. This was their decision. But I think it's so obvious that if these companies had any plans for any of these girls, that Kepler would have disbanded 100%. Which is why I also don't think that Mashiro and Yeso had the full will to choose to resign with Kepler, because we've seen clips, we've seen videos of them performing the latest song in K-Wave, or they're both crying. It's very obvious these girls don't want to leave this group, because obviously you spend 2.5 years with someone, especially if you're trauma bonded through a sorority show, you don't want to leave them. Well, for 3 Entertainment very clearly had a plan for these girls from the get-go. That was to get their 2.5 years, hopefully get some recognition and then add them to Limelight. That's literally the entire reason why I believe Limelight has an infinite member group concept, was so they could add Mashiro and Yeso without having to pull strings and debut a whole new group. Duh. On one hand, this is very smart for 143 to do, because we've never seen a group from a star show not disband at the end of their 2.5 years. There has been contract changes previously, but they haven't been during promotion or during the end of one promotion period. For example, I think IOI's contract was 11 months, and then it was bumped up for 101, sorry, and then it was bumped up again for IZ*ONE, and then it was bumped up for X1. X1 had a 5-year contract, and obviously that didn't end up happening. Disbanded in 5 months. So obviously these companies should have been thinking in future tense, okay, where do I want these girls? Where do I want my trainees to be after this promotion ends? We need to have a group now. Groups take a long time to debut and to get ready. And once your group disbands, you only have some amount of time where your trainees are still relevant. And we see this post-disbandment hype die down very quick. You really have to re-debut your idols in a span of a year at most. I've debuted almost immediately. I think it was half a year. SSERAFIM debuted I think a year and a half after. You have to get these girls ready as soon as you're done. You have to know what you want to do with them. Not only that, but these groups have never been the end goal for any of these companies. For example, again, going back to IOI, I think Gugudan debuted either around the time IOI was promoting or almost immediately after. The same goes with IZ*ONE. It was very clear from the beginning that Starship had no plans in keeping Wonyoung or Yujin in this group. There was no way. I think a lot of these companies expected Kepler to do just as good if not better than IZ*ONE, and in one way they had the potential to do. Mind you, you guys always forget that Kepler at one point was the best first day selling debut album for a female group. That's crazy. And while yeah, I condemn all these girls companies for not having any plans for these girls after disbandment, I also really don't think 143 is that smart. And I know I've just complimented them for having plans. I really don't think it was smart for them to add them to Limelight. I don't. There's a variety of reasons I say this, but for one, the big group concept just isn't working anymore. Recently, the most popular groups are getting smaller and smaller, like the average being 6, and that's already pushing it. Like, I know some groups are debuting with 7, but like the average recently has been like 6 and lower. Groups that make it work are the ones that make it their core. Like, this is a core concept, like NCT with an infinite member reveal, infinite member concept. Triple S with, like, from the start, we knew there's gonna be 24 members, we knew there's gonna be infinite concepts. But honestly, if you weren't like chronically online, you know, like following Limelight with everything they do, you would not know that they have infinite member concept, or that that's like their thing. You just would not know. So this like adding of these girls, Masha and Yeso, to this group is like very random to most people because they have no idea what this group's concept is. And adding Yeso and Mashiro to Limelight is like a gamble, because we've seen post-survival show groups be successful and also like completely fail. Like Gurudan had potential if they were promoted right, and they ended up failing. Dia too. Like, so many groups have failed in the past. The ones that were able to succeed, being like IVE and SSERAFIM, were very surprising to most, because no one really expected them to continue, because we've seen almost all groups prior fail completely. You also have to play like this almost balancing game with adding these members to the group. You can't make the focus completely on them, but you also can't ignore them, because then that defeats the whole point. At this point, just add new trainees if you're not going to focus on the Kepler members. And like, if we do that, it's like, there's so much that could fail. You know, we've seen it again previously with Gugudan, where their focus was completely on the post-IOI members, and people were like, no idea who the rest of the members were. Same thing goes with the Dia and all the other post-IOI groups, and also like some post-101 and probably post-X1, where like the focus was all on the like disbandment group members, that like people were like, oh, this is just so-and-so and friends, this is just focus on this group. But also, it's completely out of luck, because Wonyoung and Sakura were able to thrive, but even then, Wonyoung especially, faced that like, oh, so-and-so and friends allegation. So it's like, you can't win in this situation. This is already like going kind of long, but again, it's like just like me ranting, completely unscripted, whatever. But I also like really want to talk about how frustrating Kepler's career is. Seeing as a fan, you know, I supported them during Girls Planet 99. I watched every episode. Actually, that's a lie. I got bored. But I watched most of the episodes. I voted. I remember seeing the final lineup teaser, like when like it was all Koreans, the top 9. I remember that. I remember every single one of that. And I remember like being so stressed. And I remember the final lineup. I was at school. I remember I was going to school, and I like opened the mnet app and the Viki app, sorry. And I remember seeing that like Xiaoting was not on the lineup, and we we're already number 9, and they called Xiaoting as number 9. And I got so pissed. I was like, okay, only one Chinese member, whatever. And I went to school pissed. But I remember like after that, I was like chill. I was like happy, because I was like, okay, like this group looks fine. I don't care. And seeing the hatred in the live chat, oh my god, you guys, it was awful. It was so bad. These girls are getting threats. These girls are getting so many awful comments, especially Bahia. You know what? Let's just not sugarcoat it. It was Bahia that was facing all these threats and whatever. It was awful. But I remember everyone like chilled, and everyone was like really excited. And then we got Mashiro and someone else, I think, got COVID, and the debut was postponed. And it was like this whole thing, and it was like the build up. We were like excited, like sure, like so many things have happened, but like the excitement was still there. And then they debuted, and everyone was mad, because everyone hated the song, everyone hated the music video. But I liked it, you know, there was a lot of problems. And like this mistreatment just like keeps going. I don't understand how you mess up promotions for a group so many times. Adding them to Queendom, what was that? Why did we add them to that? Like, there was no point. They were doing fine. They were generally doing fine. Yeah, people had mixed opinions on what but like, people were singing it. It was literally so popular. So many people were dancing to it. So many people were singing to it. Talking about concept, you know, like everyone complained that, oh, Kepler's not cohesive. Kepler's not cohesive. We have Mask. Mask perfectly highlighted all the members' talents. It was, everyone had the screen time. Everyone had their part. Everyone worked with what they had. It worked. So like, it's not that these girls are not cohesive. It's that the Wake One does not try. It's just that Wake One does not try. adding to Queendom was the biggest mistake, and all these like Kepler videos, they will cite this. They'll be like, oh, Queendom, it's because they're right. It's because adding to Queendom added no momentum, added nothing. It stopped it, honestly. It's like probably one of the ruining factors. It's so... Okay, I'm like listening back to that, and like the amount of times I like took time to take a breath is actually embarrassing, but whatever. I feel like people constantly are like, oh, it's because Kepler's not this, Kepler's not that, whatever. And it's like, you're lying. You're lying to yourself. Like, let's be objective. Like, honestly, you know what, I'll be honest. When I saw the lineup, I was like, okay, like, so, we're a joke. But once you like really stop being dumb and stupid, you realize that no, these girls are fine. These girls are one of the best performers. These girls are one of the best dancers in the industry currently. These girls, frankly, can they sing the best? No. But can anyone sing at this point? No. In fact, I promise you could probably outsing most of the industry because no one can sing. And I'm sorry if I'm getting like so emotional. It's just like, it's like when you look back and you see everything, you're like, wow, we really could have had something. Could we have had everything? Probably not, because it's week 1. But we could have had something. We could have had, it's like, these girls, they have the popularity. You know, Bahia went viral for taking the exam, for taking the college entrance exam. She went viral for like literally every other week. Shouting also went viral for like Isaac. Shouting is still praised to this day, being like, oh, the lost it girl, that lost this, that, whatever. Hikaru also went viral. These girls' professionalism goes viral every day. Like when Taeyeon fell during Queendom, when Hikaru fell during an up performance. Like these girls have it. It's just week 1 that's so bad, that they're so awful, and I don't think it's gonna get better. I'm gonna be so honest with you guys. I really don't. Like for this comeback, Shooting Star, I'll be honest, I like knew they're coming back. I knew it was June, I knew it was early June. However, I didn't see any teasers at all. I saw it once when like a Kepler would repost it, not from the actual account. The only time I knew that they were having a comeback was when the MV was released. Yeah, that was the only time. Who's to say it's gonna get better? Who? Because like week 1 fought tooth and nail to keep these girls in Kepler. Tooth and nail. I saw like at least 5 articles with the same title, like, oh, Kepler might renew their contract, Kepler might extend their contract, yada, at least 5 times this year. At least 5 times last year too. Like, Wake 1 is fighting so hard for girls they don't even want to promote. Like, okay, you're just fighting to have them. You're just fighting to have the name, but you're not gonna do anything with them, so it's like, what's the point? Really, the only... And this sucks. I think the reason they fought so hard was obviously to keep, like, you know, one of the biggest money makers, but also it's like to test the waters, to see like, oh, if we did this for Kepler, look what we can do for CB1. Oh, if we do this, like, look at all the benefits, like, you'll get this and that, but it's better for CB1 because, like, and it's like, okay. Like, okay. If we're being serious, I would promote their next comeback, which... I know it's like so like dystopian. That's the only word I can use. But like we're talking about the next comeback when they're having their last, you know, comeback as 9. But you know, this is like just a rant, whatever. For the next comeback, what we really need is like a re-debut. Make this grand, make this big, bring people's attention back. Like it has to be a re-debut, honestly. Give them a concept that will hook people in, that they can pull off, which by the way, these girls can definitely pull off most concepts. A concept that they could pull off, that'll bring people in, and that they will stick to. I think that's all I'm gonna allow myself to rant about in this video, because it's already getting kind of long. What do you guys think? Do you guys think I'm being like over dramatic? Like, that's fine, I understand. But like, do you guys agree with me? Like, you know, comment down below. Again, this is like more a conversation starter video rather than a very like analytical and like evidence-based video. Like, this is really just like me ranting as a fan because it hurts so bad. Anyways, yeah, that's it. See you guys next time. Bye.